Thanks for having me. Welcome. Good morning, you guys. Before I get started, I have to apologize for my appearance. I already warned Gretchen. I'm probably going to have to tell you guys this. I'm having some sort of crazy allergic reaction to something. I think a medication. And so my eyes are like, so I cannot wear any makeup right now. So if it looks like I just rolled out of bed, that is why. I actually woke up a while ago, but there was nothing I could do. So here I am. I'm going to stay nice and far away from the camera. So today we are going to explore some foolproof vocal warm-ups. And I see some familiar faces that have been in some of the other Zoom classes. I see some new faces that have not attended my Zoom classes, so welcome. Those of you that have been around with me for a while, you know that even though I'm a voice teacher, I teach very holistically. We address the entire body. The term that, oh, thank you, Linda. Linda just sent me a message. The term that is being used in vocal pedagogy, voice teacher circles is vocal athlete. So we are not just artists, but we are athlete artists, meaning we have to think of our body in the terms of athletic training and the principles of exercise science. So when we're addressing a warm-up, I want to frame it that way today. Yes, we will be doing some sounds with our voice, but those of you that have been along for the ride with me, you know that it's all about the whole body. So we're going to warm up your whole body, and I'm really interested in your feedback on this. So when we're done, your assignment is to go and sing. And then I would love for you to follow me on Instagram or Facebook or whatever it is that you do and give me some feedback. I have my little graphic up there say, hey, join me for today. So you can go to that graphic and just say, hey, I sang and XYZ, this is what I felt. This is the difference that I experienced. Or, hey, Crystal, that was not effective at all, but thanks for trying. No, I don't expect that kind of feedback, but I do appreciate honest feedback all the time. So the first thing we're going to talk about is hydration. So it is early in the morning. I cannot see you all because my video is pinned, but if I was to ask a show of hands how many people rolled out of bed in the last half hour, I would expect probably most people under the age of 30, their hand would be in the air. People over the age of 30, maybe 30%, maybe 25% if we're being honest. Maybe I'm the only one that wakes up at 6:30 still. I don't know. My body's just like, hey, the sun's up. Let's go. Then I lay there and I cry a little bit and then I get up. Just kidding. I don't cry. Well, sometimes, but not when I wake up in the morning. I'm a morning person. So all night you've been breathing and not hydrating. So the very first thing you should do, you should have done 2 hours before we met, was to get a drink of water. So it's better late than never, but if everybody has water, can you please drink approximately 6 to 8 ounces? And we're going to do this right now. Cheers, everyone. Okay. I don't know if I'm the only geeky person that has actually clocked how many ounces I swallow in every swallow. But for me, about 4 swallows is 6 ounces. So 5 to 6 swallows is 8 ounces. It's a fun little thing you can do where you fill up an 8-ounce measuring cup and then you drink it and you see how many swallows, normal size swallows it takes you. That way you don't have to, you know, if you're like someplace and you're drinking out of glasses and you're not good at judging how many ounces is in the glass, you can kind of clock your swallows. Just a little fun little tip there. So I woke up this morning and I must have been sleeping with my mouth open because my mouth was very dry. My tongue was dry. The first thing I did when I woke up is I was like, oh, I'm a little dehydrated. If my mouth and my throat are dry, that means my vocal folds are also dry. So I started drinking water immediately upon rising. And if you have to sing at any point in the morning, I recommend getting up 2 hours before you need to sing. Because if you wake up dry, it's going to take you 2 hours for the hydration to get to the chord level if you're doing it the old-fashioned way and you're drinking a glass of water. If you have one of these cool fancy things, this is a nebulizer. This will deliver hydration directly to the cords in about 10 minutes. So I call this emergency hydration. I was planning on using it this morning before the class, and then life, got in the way. So if you have a nebulizer and it's different than a steamer, I may reference some of the classes that I did previously since there's so many new people. I know, Gretchen, they're working on trying to get an archive of the videos, correct? Of our classes?
Yes, correct. Yeah, reruns will be happening.
Great. So you want to catch my vocal health lecture, which was super fun. That was with a virtual background at the Golden Gate Bridge. I remember that one because I was having technical difficulties. So you want to go back and catch that. We talk about the difference between nebulizing and steaming, but nebulizing is the way to get quick hydration to your cords. You can go to my website, which is crystalvoicestudio.com, and you can, I do have a recommendations page with links, so you can link directly to this one, which is the one that I recommend. There are other ones out there. This happens to be the one that I use, and I know one of the developers, and so I like to support him. So it's called My Vocal Mist is the brand that I recommend. So you can do that. All right, so let's assume now that we're all very, very well hydrated. And so and why is it important to hydrate? Because a large quantity of vocal injuries happen while you're singing on dehydrated cords. So no warm up in the world is going to be effective if you're singing on dehydrated cords. So I just want to make sure that that's clear. All right, so I warm up my body before I even touch my voice. So we're going to start with a little tiny bit. I did do multiple sessions in the last few weeks on body work, on stretching, on self-massage. So I do recommend, if you missed those, to go back and watch them when you are able. We're going to flow through a few quick things that you can do to touch on some, I don't want to say trouble spots. I want to say critical parts of your body that need to partner with you when you are singing. They need to play nicely with your voice, okay? So you can see I have a table there behind me. I'm going to lie down and I'm going to demonstrate what I would like for you to do, and then I want everybody to get on the floor and you're going to do it yourself, okay? So you're going to watch me first. It's going to be very, very quick, about a minute, maybe 2 minutes total. But I do this every morning before I get out of bed, even Sundays. Sometimes I take off national holidays. So, oops, I need my pillow. I have this fancy studio pillow that I never get to use anymore because we're teaching virtually. Okay, so I put the pillow underneath my knees and I visualize my head in line with my shoulders, in line with my rib cage, in line with my hips. And I picture this straight line, crystal on a stick, that all those body parts are lined up, and it's like, oh, lovely. I'm in a nice horizontal line here as I'm lying on the ground or on my bed. Then I'm going to take one foot and I'm going to put my heel down on the pillow, and I really slowly and gently let my leg fall out to the side and then lift it back up. I'm trying to release everything in my hips when I do this. I'm also talking to my hips saying, hey, you don't need to be freaked out. Everything's going to be okay. You don't have to clench. You don't have to hold. I'm lying down and I'm moving my hip gently and slowly. And I do that about 3 times on both sides. And I'm giving you guys the bare basics today just because of time. There are some additional things, but these are the most critical, most crucial aspects to hit if you're trying to make sure that your whole body's cooperating with you. So I do that both sides. And then I will do a little bit of smoothing with my hands on my chest to just encourage my chest to remember that it is not in charge of breathing. I cradle my neck with my hands to remind my neck that I would like for it to be rainbow shaped, not flat and not holding. Sometimes I do a little bit of gentle stroking back there, massage. And then I do a little bit of breathing in this position. You can do box breathing. In MDH breathing coordination, we do something called silent counting. But you want to do a little bit of breath work in this position. Just feeling how all the different parts of the body are working together as you breathe. Everyone's playing nicely with each other. Okay? So now I want everyone to find a spot where they can lie down on the floor, and I'm going to talk you through this. And I know I'm not going to see anybody because you're all disappearing. You may or may not have something to put under your legs. If you don't, you can keep your knees bent and your feet on the floor. Give you guys about 30 more seconds. All right. So we're going to start by visualizing the weights of your body in a horizontal line on the floor. Your head is directly in line with your shoulders. Your shoulders are directly in line with your rib cage. You want to imagine an imaginary line going through the center of your body in a horizontal manner. And then the rib cage is in line with your pelvis. We want all of those weights to stack up one on top of each other when we're standing. Visualizing it in a lying position helps point you in the right direction. So now gently take one foot, bend the knee, and place the foot on the ground. Or on, if you have a pillow under your legs, you can put it under the pillow. And you may feel your hips already are kind of like bracing for impact. If you feel your hips clenching or bracing, have a little conversation with them. Remind them it's okay to let go. And let the leg gently and slowly fall to the side. And then as gently and slowly as possible, bring it back up. We're looking for a smooth, slow, gentle range of motion. You do that 3 times on one leg. And then switch to the other side as you are comfortable. Oh, I see puppies that want to come and help. I love it. My puppies do that too. When I lay down, they're like, "What you doing? Can I play?" So now once you have done both legs, you're going to want to take your hands, both hands, and put them on your upper chest and give yourself a very small amount of compression. And then allow the hands to glide outward towards your shoulders. And you do that 3 times. This is reminding your chest that it does not need to be active when you're breathing. That's the message you're sending. Then take your hands and cradle underneath your neck, reminding your neck that it is rainbow shaped. Some people's rainbows are taller than others. Some are long with a gentle curve. Some are tall with a steeper curve, but everyone's neck has a slight rainbow shape to it, or should. Dancers, those of you especially that have done a lot of ballet, you may feel like your neck wants to be completely straight. That's not optimal for singing. So that may be something that you want to look at. And if you feel like doing gentle stroking motions or a little bit of gentle massage, squeezing, or gliding your fingers up the back of your neck, now would be a great time to do that. And now for the next minute or so, you can do some gentle breathing. Put one hand on your chest, one hand on your tummy. If you already have breath work that you like to do, you can engage in that activity. If you don't have any kind of breath work that you utilize, then what I'd like for you to do is just observe the air moving in and out of your body. You want your entire thorax to expand slightly when you inhale, but you want to feel that the movement is instigating from down below in your abdomen, in front, and then around into your sides and into the back. You want to feel that the expansion leads from there. And then on the exhale, you'll feel the entire thorax grow smaller, just a little bit, all the way around. And inhale and exhale through your nose, unless you're doing specific breathing work otherwise. Don't fall back asleep. Hee hee hee. All right, now as you are comfortable and able, you can return to your seated or standing position. I do recommend rolling on your side before you get up. It's better to preserve the work that you just did. So you roll on your side and then push yourself into a seated position. Is everybody asleep? There come some people back. That's always my concern when we're doing lying down breath work. I've actually had a couple people fall asleep in my studio. I'm like, hey, are you there? You gotta wake up. Come on, buddy. It's usually 9th grade boys. But I think that's just kind of the way they are anyway. They're really busy like growing a whole man set size of things. So there's like, it's exhausting. All right, so now I do want to take you through just a couple quick stretches for your ribs, your back, and your neck. And we're going to do this really, really quickly. Those of you that attended my stretching video, you'll recognize these, but we're going to flow through them quickly. And again, this is just very, very basic. There are lots and lots of things you can do. So as you're doing this, if we're stretching your ribs, and your ribs are sending you all sorts of messages that they need extra help or that they're confused, then this would be an area that I would recommend that you look into studying a little bit more, because you may have just exposed an area of growth for yourself, which is super awesome. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and do this seated, since it's just kind of fun to be able to do everything in our chair, since that's where we live right now. And what you're going to do is you're going to do a side stretch. So you want to make sure you're going straight to the side. You're not twisting at all. Hands overhead. And I like to grasp my upper arm and give it a pull. And I'm feeling a stretch all the way down the side. And then I'm going to rotate my torso towards the floor, and I feel it move. Don't forget to keep breathing. And then back up. And now over to the other side. In a perfect world, you'd want to hold these maybe 30 seconds, maybe a minute. And rotate your upper torso towards the ground, still pulling on that arm. And back. And back up. And now most of us are familiar with a roll up and a roll down. I have lots of different things I like to do for the back, but today we'll go ahead and just do a roll up and roll down. If this is really, really painful for you, if you have back issues, make sure you really respect the limits of your body. Some people can like literally fold in half. Good for them, but that may not be your life. So if you get to a certain point and it starts to feel really icky, stop. That means that you're probably tugging on a nerve that's really not happy about being tugged on. And we don't want you to trigger some sort of back injury because you're trying to, you know, do a textbook perfect roll down of your spine. The way that I teach always 100% of the time is we have to respect our own individual bodies and their limits and what they're willing to do for us. So that's a principle that is a good principle to live by as a singer. Okay, so we're going to think one vertebra at a time, one vertebrae at a time. And you're going to roll down thinking each one of these guys has its own turn. If you have a friend, if this is something that you can do with a friend, it's more effective if they do what I just did to the skeleton. You might be able to do this for yourself. It might be too awkward. I'm going to show you with this hand where I touch the place that I'm trying to activate. And then one at a time, I release that vertebrae and I start rolling down. There will be points in the middle you can't reach. That's why I suggest you may want to do it with a friend. Ooh, I feel this in my low back. And now we're going to reverse. Back up. One at a time. If you can touch the place that you're trying to activate, that's good. Yeah, see, I have a whole chunk here in the middle that are stuck together. We're going to do it one more time. I see some people are still working. I think we're all back up, everybody that I can see. So we're going to do this one more time, and then when you get to the bottom, I want you to release your arms and let them hang and swing. Release your jaw, release your tongue, release all of your facial muscles. Let that hang as well for a few seconds before you head back up. All right, so here we go again. One vertebrae at a time. Releasing. Feeling the stretch. When you get to the sticky spots, try to encourage them, coax them. You can do it, friends. And then when you get to the bottom, let your arms hang and swing around a little bit. Release the jaw. Let your head bobble back and forth a little bit, feeling a complete release. And then head back up, so to speak. I think almost everybody's back. So we're going to move on really quickly to the neck. So this is old school as well. We're just going to do ear to shoulder. And then as it feels comfortable, you can give yourself a little more traction. Neck stretches are so important for singers. They're critical. I mean, really all of these are critical. We use our ribs for singing, don't we? We use our neck for singing, heck yeah. Go ahead and do a really slow roll to the other side. I have a whole neck protocol that I did, well, I did part of it in the singer stretching video. And then the other side. I will, there's a little tiny secret I can tell you guys. I'm working on getting some online courses that are really affordable, whole modules where it's more comprehensive than the stuff I'm able to do in here. Shh, don't tell anybody. And roll back down to the middle and then up. Great. Now we're going to stretch the places that really are intimately involved. They're the places where we would get repetitive stress injuries like carpal tunnel of the vocal folds. So what I want to do is start by pretending like you're about to sneeze and then close your lips and blow gently, not super hard. I don't want you to pop your ears. And see if you can feel stretch inside. And we all look lovely. And now pretend like you just took a bite of hot pizza or a sip of really hot coffee. And right. And then close your lips and blow. Try to feel the stretch straight back. There are muscles in your throat. We're stretching them too. We're warming them up. And now pretend like you're stifling a yawn. And now do the same thing. And hopefully you can feel that there are 3 different spaces that you just stretched. with that. If you can't differentiate that, then that's something that you can work on. We have 3 different areas, distinct areas in the pharynx, and we use them all for singing. So it's a good idea to be able to differentiate and train them. It's really, really cool. And you can get all sorts of fun colors in your sound by having good mobility in your pharynx, okay? So now we're gonna do the tongue just a little bit. So what I want you to do is I want you to look up towards the ceiling, point your chin towards the ceiling, and you can anchor down at your collarbone a little bit, and then stick your chin up towards the ceiling. And you should feel a stretch. Hold that for 3 seconds and then come back down. And then we're gonna, the second time you go up, I want you to stick your tongue out. So chin up, point towards the ceiling. Now stick your tongue out. Hold it just for a few seconds, tongue back in, chin back down. These you always want to move very slowly through. You don't want to go, because things will spasm and then you'll go, Crystal, you broke me. I'll say, slow down, people. Okay. Now I want you to suck your tongue up into the roof of your mouth like you're going to click it, like that, but don't click it. You're going to open and close your jaw. You should feel a nice little stretch underneath your tongue. And now I want you to do this, leave your tongue and pretend like you're a cow chewing its cud. So you're moving that jaw all over. You want it to be slow and smooth. If your tongue or if your jaw is really jerky, that means you need some additional work for your jaw. But right now I'm assuming that you are already working all your technical issues. We're just warming up your voice. So once your jaw is released, this is a real quick, like, okay, all right, I'm stretched, I'm warm, I'm ready to go, right? If you can, tongue trill. I'm not very good at that. You can do some of those, or you can do a. So whatever you can do with your tongue like that, I want you to do that right now. Tongue trill, lip trill, or you can even do an uvular trill like the Hebrew R or the French R. That's a really good one. So just do a little bit of that just to get the tongue vibrating and ready. And now we're going to start to vocalize. So this was about between, well, when you take away the minutes that I showed you stuff, maybe 25 minutes. When you are flowing through this on your own, it's probably going to be closer to 15 is my guess. And if you go, well, I don't have an extra 15 minutes to add to my vocal warm-up routine, I would like for you to propose to you the following concept. If you do 15 minutes of this, you may actually only need to vocalize 7 to 10 minutes as opposed to 45. If you're one of those people that feel like it takes you forever to warm up your voice, you're doing scales for 45 minutes, and when you first start, you feel like you're a scratchy, broken record, right? The problem may not be with your vocal folds. The problem may be that it takes that long for your body to warm up. I see that Tatiana has a question. Let me open the chat and see. Well, that's a great question. I would say, I mean, I do the thing on the bed. I do that every morning before I get out of bed. And then most of the stuff you can do like in the shower, in the car, like kind of you don't have to sit down and go, okay, I'm going to sing. I better do this for 15 minutes straight. The way that I design all of my exercises, it's stuff you can do on the fly. Because I know, I mean, well, right now we all have time on our hands, but typically we're on the fly, right? So this is something that can be spaced out. If you are going to be active throughout the day and you do this little bits at a time, your voice should be there, like be there ready for you. But if you have a period of inactivity for more than a couple hours, like you're sitting in a movie theater for 2 hours, or you're stuck on your computer and you're checking email for 2 or 3 or 7 hours on Facebook, Instagram, right? Then I would say you need to do some refresher. So that's a really, really, really good question. But I sprinkle stuff throughout the day is what I do. And I try to do it in, you know, every hour or two, I try to do something just to make sure, oh yes, things are still moving. Okay? All right, so now we're gonna move into making some sounds, all right? So whatever your favorite lip thing is, lip tongue thing is, or the tongue trill, which I'm not very good at, let's do some sirens on that. And we're gonna do 3 up and 3 down. So it's not up and down, it's up, 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 down, down, down. Okay, so here we go. And now we're gonna do with our mouth open on an ooh. We call it a whoop. And you should sound really hooty. We're not looking for belting right now. We're looking for owls and pigeons and ooh, ooh, that kind of a sound. Okay, so 3 up and then 3 down. Here we go, in your own range, please. Ooh, 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 and then down. Ooh. So by doing this, what we've done is we've just done lunges with our vocal folds. It's like doing this kind of thing, like, yeah, okay, with the vocal folds themselves. We've gotten them to stretch in the directions that they need to stretch for pitch change. So it's just a really quick and easy thing. Okay, so now next, I'm going to show you some straw phonation. Hopefully some people have done straw phonation before and they're fans of it. I love it. It's such a great way to warm up and also build your voice. We have options here. And if you do not have any kind of straw, it's okay. You're not gonna it's not gonna be a waste of time for you, I promise, okay? If you're not gonna use water, my preference is a little tiny skinny straw. If you don't have a skinny straw, because I know they're hard to find, then you can use the plain old drinking straw. It can be a reusable one. Doesn't matter the composition. I like plastic, but there's a whole like sciencey thing behind that I don't want to bore you guys with. If you get the regular drinking straw, I prefer for you to have a glass of water with at least maybe 4 inches in it. If you really, really don't like the idea of phonating into a bottle of water, then you can just do the regular straw and you're going to play around with constricting the end of it. So I saw some people are going to get their straws. Can you do it with tea? That's a great question. It's going to splash. So if you don't mind splashing your tea, I guess you could do it with, you know, chocolate milk. I don't know that the consistency of the liquid is important. We're trying to create resistance to your airflow is the point. So once you have your device, your straw of choice, I want to see, are most people almost back? Well, a lot of people are not sharing their video with me. That's okay, I still love you. Okay, so once you have that, I'm going to show you how to do this 3 ways, okay? So if you have a little tiny straw and you don't want to do the water, you just literally, and you're going to go off and on. So I'm imitating a cell phone on vibrate, and you're going to keep exhaling when you're not phonating. The goal is to not push as much air as you can through the straw. The goal is to sense that the pressure is changing in your body when you're singing. You should feel a little stretch in your body. Okay, so you can do that in the water. You're gonna have bubbles. If you have the this straw and the water, which is actually for this exercise, it's my option of choice because you can see the bubbles. And if you notice, my bubbles are staying steady. When I'm bringing my voice in and out, it's not right? So you're trying to get steady bubbles and a nice stretchy feeling in your body. If you do not have a straw in any form and you are unable to do any straw work, you can achieve the same thing with just your lips on an F, and you're going to switch back and forth between an F and a V. So it'd be and you're trying to feel the stretchy. For some reason, I find myself putting on tension when I blow the bubbles. Any recommendation? Your body's feeling the resistance. That's a good thing, but it's not quite sure how to react. So you have to keep sending stretchy messages to your body. Say, don't push harder. Yes, I can feel that there's resistance. Just chill out. This is a very big part of what I train in my studio, is getting that stretchiness in the body. That's what, if you guys have heard the term support, I always use air quotes when I use that term because I don't use it typically, but it's what people refer to as support. It's the stretchy, dynamic reaction of the body as you negotiate pressure changes for singing. That's what support is, if you're doing it right. All right, so now we're going to proceed to the next straw, and you're going to do more of those slides, but now we get to go up and down. And I want you to go up and down for the next 30 seconds, minute. You can start with little hills and then make them bigger. And then big, 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 big. Stop and breathe when you need to. Okay, so just some slides for 30 seconds to a minute. And you guys can keep going. If you're struggling and you're doing the straw in the water, you may you may have your straw too deep in the water. You can make it shallower. 1 to 2 inches is what a lot of teachers recommend. I like actually playing around with depths because I think it's like interval training for your voice. If we're using the principles of exercise science, it helps your body react to the pressure changes. Because when we sing, our pressure changes are different. So if you can, it's a whole thing that I do. So feel free to play around with the different depths and see if there's one that feels best to you and see how your body reacts when you change different depths of the straw.
Crystal, looks like we have a question from Linda. What accommodations do you recommend straw phonation for someone with TMJ?
Oh, Linda, I'm so glad you're here. She's my, she's one of my breathing coordination colleagues. So if anybody is interested, she has a background in opera. Like she lived in Germany and like did opera. So I have 2 classical voice degrees, and I consider myself a fake opera singer. I'm not fooling any real opera singers, if you know what I mean. But I can sing classical. I actually teach classical at the university where Linda and I are together. But Linda's a real deal. So if anybody's interested in pursuing that, you should hook up with her. So there you go, Linda. There's a little shout out for you. She's awesome. So if someone has TMJ with the straw, you really want to make sure that you are not biting on the straw. Yeah, there's so many things. There's so many details. So if as you are doing this, if you feel like, oh, this is not feeling good, it means that your body, because remember, we're all different and we all have different things. It means that your body in some way is stuck and it's not able to do what you are asking it to do. And that's when you need to perhaps seek professional help, which sounds so dire. But it's a reason why it's important to study. I don't think I've said that enough over the weeks. What I'm doing here does not take the place of private study at all. Every single one of us is incredibly unique, and that's part of the appeal of the individual performer, and why there are some performers that we have a great affinity for, where we're just like, I love everything that they do. It's their unique composition of them. So, but that also happens with our dysfunctions. We have a unique cocktail of toxicity in our body too, and dysfunction. So yeah, for TMJ, you have to really, there's a whole, I would suggest just do minimal straw if you have TMJ. And you need to really focus on perhaps releasing the jaw first, and then just do a little bit of straw phonation, paying special attention that the jaw's not grabbing. And depending on how severe the TMJ is, you may not even be able to release your jaw. Like there are some people that literally, it's like, I would like to release my jaw, but it's stuck. And so then that would be the most priority for you to address, is the jaw first. Okay. So now we've done some sirens. Now we can move to vocal exercises. Hey, hey. And I love to do, we're going to do we're going to move back and forth between your straw in the bubbles and water. Straw in the bubbles, and then piano. This is not water. This is my piano over here. So you can, depending on who you are, you can do the exercise first in the water and then do it on the piano. Or just go straight to the piano, but it really depends on the person. You know, I know, like for me today, because I'm feeling a little still, I would do everything in the water first. So let's just do maybe some vowels, some E, A, O, on a sustain. I don't know, we do have some guys in here, so I'm gonna go ahead and get, I'm picking a pitch. Guys, make sure you're doing it down an octave. Okay, so this is an E above middle C. And we would just be going, E, A, O, but just for fun. And I'm changing the vowel with my tongue and my throat. You know that is, a vowel shape is happening inside the mouth. The lips might assist, but really it's happening on the inside. That's why it's really important that your tongue and your throat are very mobile so that they can create the proper shape for each vowel. Okay, so here we go again. And now you can try it out of the bubbles. E, A, O, and then we'll move up. And without the bubbles, E, A, O. We'll do one more. Sorry, Juliette Lamoureux, I know you're on here, and I wasn't paying attention to what chord I was playing. I'm like, what key am I in? F sharp, B, B minor, F sharp. There. Sorry. Now we can sing out loud. E, A, O. Okay. Now, that was like 3 notes. You can do this as much as you want. You go up, you go down, you know, whatever it is that you need to do for range. You can do this with any vocal exercise. I'm not going to give you a list of vocal exercises because this is not a bait and switch. I'm going to talk principles, okay? Whatever vocal exercises you need, each person in this Zoom room needs different vocal exercises. but this is a method that you can use and a technique that you can use to apply them and make them more effective. So if I do all this other body and stretching stuff, like right now, I feel like if I did one long scale for about 2 minutes, I could sing just about anything in my mix. If I needed to belt, I would probably need to do one more specific exercise for belt. Does that make sense to you guys? Are some people feeling similarly to me? Like, I'm kind of almost ready to sing. Yeah, I hope. Awesome. Feeling better even in the TMJ. Yay. Oh yeah, we sound like Arrow and Mermaid Choir. I love it. Awesome. And I know we're out of time.
I know this always happens. 50 minutes just goes by like that. But thank you so much.
Too many words problem is what I have.
No. They're great words. They're great words. Thank you so much, Crystal. This was awesome. Truly a gift. And yeah, we just thank you so much for coming and doing this.